I am married, and my husband Dominic and I were homeless when we met. We are not homeless anymore right now. We just got our own apartment this last August. But we both had a total of between 6 to 10 years of homelessness between us. And I want you guys to know that I used to be a care provider and a med aid. I worked in the medical field for over 20 years. I have children. My kids live with their dad now. And around 2010, I became disabled and I lost my home. So I had to voluntarily place my kids with their dad.
Wow.
I did that because we had been homeless before when I was pregnant with my son Brandon. My daughter Elena was 3 at the time, and we'd stayed in a Salvation Army shelter for a while, and we'd gotten into our own apartment. But then this was a few years later, and I became homeless again. And it was almost winter time, and I didn't want my kids to have to go through staying in one of their family shelters in the wintertime. Well, I have lots of favorite memories, but one of my favorite memories is the day I met my husband. He was in the park blocks across from the Justice Center, and he was playing a drum, and I had my guitar. And I asked him if I could play it for him.
Yeah. Do you play guitar a lot?
I usually play during the spring and the summer and put it up in the winter. So I have fibromyalgia, so when my hands get cold, they don't work as well. And I like to play it outside. I don't like to play inside where I'm contained. I like to play out in a park and places like that.
What kind of music do you like to play?
Everything from old folk rock to punk rock, and heavy metal and Christian music.
Wow.
So what makes you the happiest? Well, what makes me happiest is that I've got Jesus in my life now. And actually, when I lost everything, when I lost my homes and my cars and all that, tell you the truth, I only cared about myself for a long time, and I didn't. I made a lot of money, and I cared about my children, but it took me losing everything to find God, and it really did. I had to hit rock bottom when it came to that, And I had a lot of sadness, and I had a lot of anger, and I had a lot of mental health issues because of becoming homeless. How did you become homeless? Well, I kind of went over that a little bit, but I got injured on the job and lost my home pretty much due to not having money for rent. How would you like non-homeless people to treat you? Well, I would like everybody to be treated like as humans, is that they want to be treated with compassion and sympathy, and I think if we did more like what the Pope asked everybody to do this last winter, and if people opened up their homes to at least one homeless person, to help them out, that they may be able to change their lives.
How were you treated while you were homeless?
I think a lot of times that people didn't necessarily treat me the same way as they do some of the other people that are homeless out here. But there were times when it was pretty disheartening, when I kind of felt lost. When you come from a place where you used to have a lot of money, and then you end up with nothing, and the people that were closest to me, that knew me well, were the ones that treated me the worst.
Wow.
Like one of my best friends, that we'd been friends for 20 years, and he pretty much treated me like he didn't know me anymore. It was when I put my kids with their dad, he acted like I had just given up. But he wasn't giving us a home to live in.
Wow.
I had to make that decision for my children.
Yeah.
So the people that treated me the worst were actually people that knew me. I wasn't actually embarrassed to tell anybody I was homeless. What were you like in high school? Well, I was actually a pretty sporty girl. I was in pretty much everything from volleyball to being a cheerleader, and I was also a drama queen. I was on the drama team, and I'm an artist, so my best classes were like English, art, and drama.
Yeah. What was your favorite sport to play?
Tell you the truth, I liked track, because I liked running back then a lot, and I liked doing the javelin, the shot put, and discus, and high jump. Back then I could jump really high, and I could lift 250 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I was pretty sporty. Says, do you have a favorite movie, song, or TV show? Let's see here. Well, I have lots of favorite movies, but I prefer I prefer a lot of classics. What is the best part of being homeless and what is the worst? Well, I gotta say one of the best parts of being homeless is finding a family that actually cared about me, not because of how much money I had, but because of who I was. And I really became an activist during Occupy Portland, and I started standing up for people's rights.
Yeah.
And I was also, since I worked in the medical field, I was like the field medic for the people on the streets. And for the first 2.5, 3 years when I was homeless, while Occupy was still pretty much doing a lot of things, I stayed out in front of City Hall and slept in front of City Hall while I was still homeless with my medic bag. So whenever anybody had a scratch or had a cold or anything like that, I would help to treat them.
Wow.
And so I felt like I was appreciated by the people out there, and a lot of people still remember me. I still have this girl that runs up to me and says, "You're my angel," because she was like having some type of a seizures, and it was because of the cold, and I had an extra blanket, and I laid down next to her and put my blanket over her and kept her warm during the night. It was before I met my husband, but it's, you know, she still runs up and says, "You're my angel," because she told him if I hadn't been there, she would have gone into shock. Yeah, so actually that's one of the things I actually enjoyed about it, is being able to feel like people actually appreciated what I was doing, and I wasn't making money for it. I was doing it because I wanted to help people. Yeah, which unlike when I was working in nursing homes, I was doing it for the pay.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wouldn't necessarily feel as good about what I did.
Doing
but-
things like because you want to do them.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy about Portland, and what do you dislike about Portland? Well, I grew up in Portland, and I was born and raised here, and there's lots of things I enjoy. I enjoy our music scene. I like the waterfront. I like our forest right within our city limits in Forest Park. But I can tell you what I dislike about Portland, and I dislike that within the last 20 years that the drug problem has gone up. That we have a lot of people out here that when they get lost down here in the streets get addicted to different drugs that are bad for you and will kill you. And I've seen people that are your age even who've become addicted to these drugs and went downhill, and they look like walking death. And that makes me really sad, you know. And I found that, you know, the more often that I go out there and talk to these people, the more often that they start to come up and talk to me and actually ask me how they can get help. So.
What high school did you go to?
Actually, I went to Centennial High School until I was a junior, but I graduated from Milwaukee High School. And I also went to Mount Hood Community College and Clackamas Community College and got degrees there in art and also some medical classes.
Do you have any like last message or something you would like to say to people or someone in particular?
Yeah, especially to the youth out there, because I know that there's a lot of children that suffer being homeless with their families or by themselves. There are people out there that care. There are agencies like TPI, and there's youth agencies that help the children, and there are new family shelters too. So, you know, it's not hopeless. There are people out there that do care still.